your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
Hey, whoa, hey, do you see that? I got goosebumps.
The major provision of the bill says to ban anything that acknowledges racism. And a few pages later in the exact same bill, there are multiple provisions discussing the presence of racism.
Whoa, hold on, time out. I need to let that process, I need to let that marinate. Bro, this right here, if anybody ever wants an example of hard-hitting progressives, this is it right here. Every time people want to say, hey, the Democratic Party is just like the Republican Party, blah, 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 blah. Every time you hear somebody say that, show them this right here. Because this right here is exactly what we need to be standing behind. This right here. These type of individuals here come rare. Is one in a dozen. And every time we see individuals like this who are willing to speak truth and say with their chest, and their chin up high, we as people who understand and believe progressive policies and movements, or just black folks. Hey, can we just break it down into simple terms? Hey, black folks like this who are practicing and building up excellence like this here, we need to 150% back up by any means necessary. Easily. Because we always want to cry and complain that we have nobody who is in there speaking truth to these idiots that are going to abuse their power. Trust me, they are. But we need people in there that will look them in the face and say, hey, homie, don't play that. Homie, don't play that. And they do it with fashion too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try not to get too rowdy. You know what I'm saying? It's like 9 o'clock right now. I can't get too crazy. So let's go ahead and watch right now Jasmine Crockett and then Ayanna Pressley. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Just really get into this whole DEI and dismantling that, and people not understanding the history of affirmative action, which warped into DEI, and then all of a sudden white folks coming out the woodwork saying, hey, we are being oppressed. We are facing racism. As funny as that sounds, that is a real thing that these individuals have to combat and argue. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Yesterday, a bill called the Dismantle DEI Act passed out of the House Oversight Committee on a party line vote. The bill has 75 co-sponsors, all of whom are Republican. Now, if the bill were to actually become law, it would effectively close all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and programs. Remember that the federal government is the biggest employer in this country. It has more employees than Walmart or Amazon or anyone else. So the federal government taking diversity and equity and inclusion into account when it's recruiting and hiring and training employees, that matters. Mm-hmm. And what this Dismantle DEI Act is trying to do is legally bar the federal government from taking any of that into account on the premise that DEI is discriminatory against straight white men. Will Democrats be able to convince even just 2 or 3 Republicans that a bill like that is a really, really bad idea? Well, this is one of those battles that Democrats have already started to fight. Here was the impassioned plea from Texas Democrat Jasmine Crockett trying to explain to her fellow members that diversity is not the boogeyman the far right has made it out to be.
Of course.
White men represent 30% of the population, but 62% of office holders. These are the issues that we are constantly looking at and recognizing and trying to say, is this just? I can't even tell you how many white men have served in this chamber, but I can tell you that I am only the 55th black woman to be elected to Congress. And so when you want to talk about history and pretend as if it was so long ago, it wasn't. Because again, I am just number 55. Finally, when we start to talk about what do these numbers do as we're trying to say the diversity, equity, and inclusion is the problem, The reality is that when it comes to financial performance, companies with more diverse workforces are more likely to outperform their competitors. Companies in the top quartile for racial diversity are 35% more likely to outperform their peers on profitability. Companies with diverse executive teams are 25% more likely to generate greater profits. Diverse companies earn 2.5 times higher cash flow per employee. Diversity works.
Whoa, hey, guess what? They don't care about facts. They don't care about statistics. They don't care about improving workspaces and being productive to, whatever company that they're working for. They do not care about that. But if you do, hey, if you're watching this and you care about facts and statistics and improving based off that information, what is she lying about? I want to know, what is she lying about? And I said this just in a recent video, breaking down exactly why having that kind of environment matters. It matters. Just look it up. I mean, hey, let her continue.
There was one more section of Crockett's remarks in that committee this week that is very much worth hearing. Here was her response to the white male Republicans claiming that DEI amounts to oppression as they pushed this anti-DEI bill.
You consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression, and I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
Hey, whoa, hey, do you see that? I got goosebumps just right there. She said, hey, you trying to take away history. You trying to whitewash history and then use words that actually have weight and meaning and flip it for your advancements. Really? Hey, she broke that down. And I like how she just didn't sit here looking at her book or whatever. She turned around and was speaking to them directly with her chest, bro. And that's the type of people we need in those positions right there. Hey, I probably could have, but I couldn't have said it better myself at that moment. So there you go.
You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen.
Damn. Hey, bars. Hey. That is bars right there, bro. You cannot tell me there's no difference between running away from home, your ancestors running away from home, compared to our ancestors that were stolen. Man, hey, I want to hear the response to anybody in that room. How do you follow up with that? You don't. You just sit there in your seat looking forward, silent, bro, because you have nothing to say after that.
So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed, that y'all are the ones that are being harmed. That's not the definition of oppression. You tell me the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment that you've had, and we can have a conversation.
Joining me now is Congresswoman Jasmine.
Hey, don't mess with her. Hey, you see that? She ain't playing. She ain't sitting in there just trying to, sit in her suit, just trying to collect some. Hey, she'll throw down, verbally and probably physically. She probably whoop on you. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, once again, these are the kinds of people we need to continue to support, not just, complaining about the margin, issues that we just so happen don't agree with. Hey, she is an ally and we need to continue as such. But let's go ahead and go to Ayanna Pressley. Hey, fire, bro. Fire.
Black women.
Once again, where's the brothers at? You know what I'm saying? Where are the strong brothers in the Democratic Party? I need to hear from them now, because right now the ladies is putting on a show. Right now they're showing you how it's done. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. Hey, just saying.
On the House Oversight panel have been given the heat, talking about DEI, Republicans doing their usual nonsense. Well, here's Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley giving her 5 cents in 5 minutes. Of course, Summer Lee and Jasmine Crockett did the same yesterday. We wanted to show you what Pressley had to say. Check this out.
This bill, titled the Dismantling DEI Act, is an utter disgrace. Having sat and read the text in preparation for today's markup, I have yet another example to tell my constituents about the unserious work of the Republican Party. Now, I'll work with anyone serious about progress who wants to center the people who call this country home. This isn't it. The Committee on Oversight has the broadest jurisdiction in the entire House of Representatives to investigate any topic it chooses, but we are debating legislation that denies the sky is blue, water is wet, and racism is real. The major provision of the bill says to ban anything that acknowledges racism. And a few pages later in the exact same bill, there are multiple provisions discussing the presence of racism.
Whoa. Hold on. Time out. I need to let that process. I need to let that marinate right now, because no one can't be that stupid. I mean, on the one hand, they're saying racism doesn't exist. Racism is not a thing. There's no such thing as systematic racism. No, that's in fairy tales, baby. That's what they told us. But then in the same paragraph, on the same page, they're saying that they're being treated with racism. Man, jeez, man, I swear, I couldn't be in there. I could not work with people like that. I would be literally wanting to fight these individuals for the amount of stupidity I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? So, like, really, why? Okay, got you. Let's continue.
This Republican approach is as predictable as it is nonsensical. On one hand, they're saying that racism does not exist. On the other hand, they are saying there is rampant reverse racism. Well, how do you reverse something that never existed in the first place? Riddle me that.
Hey, Ben, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, riddle her that. Okay, she riddled, now riddle her that. If that makes sense. How is there reverse racism without there being a cause of racism? Like, it don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have a headache if you're dead. Like, the one has to come before the other. You can't have one without the other. You know what I'm saying? So how can you have a car bill if you ain't got no car? You see how that works? I just thought of that right now. And if I could think of that, if I could understand that, okay? I didn't do no college. If I could understand that simple process, I'm pretty sure, I'm so sure other people can do it too. You can't have reverse racism if there was no racism to begin with. Man, oh man. Oh, I got to commend these people here, because I would be on fire every single day. I couldn't do it.
While this Republican policy may have a new name, it's the same old tired game. Look, y'all are entitled to your opinions, but not a denial of the facts. Do you all know your history?
No.
Do you know American history?
No. Hey, That's the reason why they're trying in the process to whitewash that. They know it. They just don't want to understand it. They don't want to verbalize it. They don't want to accept it by any means, because then that means they were wrong. And that's a whole nother deep conversation they would have to have with themselves.
The original Constitution counted enslaved individuals as 3/5 of a person. During World War II, the federal government forcibly relocated and incarcerated 110,000 Japanese Americans. The FHA practiced redlining in the 1930s and 60s to deny mortgages to black Americans, which is why we have a racial wealth gap today.
Oh, no, that's not right. Because systemic racism, that doesn't exist. There's no like way to track back the low equality that black people had throughout this nation. There's no way to kind of navigate through the past. No, of course not. We don't have the data for that. We don't have evidence of that. What is she talking about?
I could go on. The GI Bill, which is supposed to be race neutral, denied access to black Americans, denying them equal access to education and housing benefits, which is why we do not have generational wealth.
Hey. Did you hear?
Talk to me about merit when those black servicemen fought for our freedoms.
Man.
And I'd also just like to take a personal note of privilege to say, please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths.
Yes. Hey, I guarantee if this was off the record, if this was on the street, you know what I'm saying, when she ain't wearing that, she'd be like, hey, I dare you, bro. I double dog dare you. Say Martin Luther King right now. I dare you to say it. Say his name. I wish you would. Say his name right now. And see how they go down. I dare you to. Fix your lips to say Martin Luther King one more again. And she will whoop on you. Guarantee it. Man, that's that fire. That's that fire right there, bro, that we all need to be learning and listening from. This right here.
Your perversion of his words and his mission when his children have asked you to stop invoking his name and perverting his work when he was a proud and unapologetic black man fighting for equality for black Americans and all marginalized people. So you all are entitled to your opinions, but not a denial of the facts. But I'm not surprised that you would deny American history. What I am, though, is committed. Committed to speaking truth to power, committed to standing up for marginalized communities and vulnerable people, committed to ensuring that everyone has equal opportunity to buy a house, to work a job, to pursue higher education, and to live in a society that is fair and just. A colleague across the aisle invoked the phrase of, we must do everything to stop government-sponsored oppression. Well, I've just enumerated numerous examples. Which is exactly why we have legislation and an executive order to reverse this harm.
Wow. Once again, why do you think something like affirmative action was implemented? And yes, we can have conversations on what that should have been, how it could have been, or what it should have been. I get that. But to sit here and think like something like that did not need to exist, you're an idiot. You just don't understand history then. Like you just don't get it. And maybe you have to be one of those individuals to experience it. To be like, damn, this is some messed up things. This is not a life that people should be put through. But, hey, people don't like to read. They don't like to, listen to documentaries of like people during that time. Like, oh, hey.
And that is why I'm committed to opposing this bill and urge my colleagues to do the same.
Look, what we are seeing.
Hey, Martin, don't worry, pimp. Don't worry, pimp. I got this. Once again, this is hey, Wrong thing. Okay, hey, we just gonna have to look at his face right now. But once again, we need to make sure that we are standing behind the individuals that are essentially putting their careers on the line. They're damn near putting their life on the line. Because when you have people of color standing bold with their chest up, chin up, like this, hey, and they saying it proud too, and they not afraid. That's what scares people like white supremacists and people like, of that nature. That's what they're afraid of, is when we stop being afraid. Then that's when crazy things happen. You know what I'm saying? They're not scared of the Byron. they're not scared of the Tim Scotts. No, they're not scared of the Candace Owens. Psh. They wouldn't even think twice about them. But once again, we need to make sure that we are behind individuals like that. Not the whole Democratic Party as a whole. We still need a lot of work to do on the party. But those individuals, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater with them. And I don't think so. You feel me? But once again, if you agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord link so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, don't worry about his face. Don't worry. Let's have that conversation.